Hello and welcome. It's Born and Red, and welcome to our first opposition preview show. We're probably thinking, why is he talking about our first preview show when we're 4 to 5 games into the season? Well, we simply didn't get a response from the other, teams that we played. So that's why it's a huge thanks to Kendall Rowan, our special guest and a massive Newcastle fan. For those who don't know her, where have you been? You've not been watching the BBC Sport, the Overlap Show podcast, Sky Sports, and the list goes on. So thank you very much, and huge big up to Kendall. And how are you, first of all?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you, and thank you for having me. And you don't need to big me up. It's all okay. You can thank you for having me though.
We like the big intros. We like the big ones. So okay, it looks like you've got a visitor. It's all right. My daughter will probably just come in any second as
It's
well.
okay.
So.
She hasn't got headphones plugged in, so it's like loud. So I'm telling her like put your headphones in because we can hear it on here. So I'm like put your headphones in, like trying to mime, even though she's got them on. She hasn't got them plugged in, so she still can't hear me. But it's all right now.
Oh, bless her. Okay, brilliant. Before we get into sort of to look at into the game and stuff, I've got a soft spot for Newcastle, not because of all the classic matches we've had at Anfield, the 4-3s, the Stan Collymores. I'm sure you've had some winners as well, but we don't like mentioning them. But I stayed in Newcastle, Kendall, for about 2 years around the quayside. I used to work there, so I know the city really well. I know the people, absolutely so much love for the city. So I always look out for your result as well. So like I said, I sort of went to the few matches at St. James's, an absolute brilliant one city, one club sort of football club. And yeah, good luck. I was going to say at the end of the show, good luck, but of course, after Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But before we look, like I said, before we look at the game, sort of closely, how's your summer been? Any sort of good transfer signings? I know you've just signed Alexander Isak recently. Are you looking to sort of get a few more in by the window closes?
It looks like probably if we get anyone, it's going to be a loan. Well, as far as Eddie says in his press conference today, anyway, it's going to be loans. Although I have seen some rumours on Sky Sports that we are in for Cody Gakpo, alongside some other clubs like Arsenal and things like that. If that goes through, that will be a permanent. So I don't know. I genuinely thought we were probably finished at this point, despite the fact that I would be quite upset if we were finished. But yeah, if we get anyone in, it'll be loans. But other than that, the window's been really good. A lot better than we've had in previous years. I think obviously this is the first big window where Eddie gets a full say, because obviously he was only here a couple of months before the January window. This is the first window that is under the complete season where it's under new owners. So yeah, it's been really good so far. And I think honestly the business that we've done has been really good. So yeah.
And that's what I like about the sort of Newcastle business, because whenever when you got taken over, there was obviously the whole hype about you're gonna go absolute berserk, similar to what Chelsea did, City did. But from the outside, even though you spent money, you're not in the headlines every single day linked to a player where it's 70 million here, 80, similar to sort of what you see from United, who start bidding 90 million for even myself. But for Newcastle, you're doing business, but it seems like it's the players that Eddie Howe really wants that fit the system, and it's shrewd business. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I just looking at certain signings, like obviously the Sven Botman signing, that's been going on since January, but the amount that we paid, which is about £39 million, he is 22 years old. Like he could be our centre back for the next 10 years if we really wanted him to be. Nick Pope for 10 million is an absolute steal of a signing. Obviously signing Matty Target for 13 million, which we had him last season. And then of course Alexander Isak as well. I think obviously 58 million for us is like it seems a lot because it's our club record transfer, which I get that. But still, for a striker who was 22 years old, who a couple of seasons ago was the next big thing, and the only people that had scored more non-penalty goals than him was Mbappe and Haaland. Like that for me is massive. And yeah, it's definitely just about getting the right people in, and the ones that fit the system and the ones that fit our criteria, which at this moment in time seems to be young, developable, if that's a word, players. So yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with the business that's been done so far. Really happy.
Yeah, because Isaac was sort of linked to Arsenal. I know they wanted to replace Lacazette in January, and there was a lot of talk about them going for Isaac and Vlahovic. They missed out on to Juve in January. So I've not seen a lot of him. I'll be honest. I've seen him sort of in the Euros for Sweden and some qualifying games as well. What can we expect? Have you seen much of him?
I watch a lot of La Liga because Atleti are my second team. So I watch a lot of La Liga. So I have watched him a lot. And he is very good. He's very physical. There's not anyone in the Premier League built like him as a striker, really. Like, the only one I can possibly think of is like Harry Kane, because he's tall and strong. Like, that's the only one I can think of. But even stats wise, there's actually nobody close to him in the Premier League that plays a similar style to him, which I'm glad about, because it means that teams can't figure him out straight away. They won't know how to play against him. And it'll obviously take a little bit of time to understand that. His first touch is really great. He's got a lot of winger-like qualities, which we are desperate for at the moment. And to be honest, I did actually think that we would probably sign a right winger over a striker at the moment, but he can play there. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with that signing. I think it's going to be really, really good for us, obviously, and we need it to be good really at this stage. But yeah, I don't have any doubts that it'll be a decent signing for us.
Do you have any midfielders that we can buy?
I have heard, that Liverpool are lacking in midfield, but injury situation again. But to be fair, we need them at the moment because our best midfielder's out right now, so we could do with another one as well.
I've seen Bruno a few times, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. And that's exactly what we're missing, a bit of creativity from the deep. But maybe we can talk about the Liverpool midfield situation on another day. But in terms of results, it's been a I wouldn't say a great start, but a good start, by Newcastle. You played the champions, who I thought you were quite unlucky not to beat on that day. Brighton away, Wolves away, and Forest on the opening day of the season. A win and 3 draws. You can't complain with that.
No, I can't. No, especially when it took us till the 11th of November to get 5 points last season. Wow. I absolutely can't complain. We're still in August. We've got 5 points, so I can't complain about that. I'm really happy with the start. I think we didn't have our strongest side out against Wolves because of obvious reasons, injuries, things like that. And we still managed to come away with a point with a Maxi absolute wonder goal. And
how well is he playing at the moment?
Yeah, he's so good. The same with Bruno. I was going to say Bruno. Same with Brighton. We didn't play the best, and we still came out with a draw. Which, so for me, these are the things that I'm paying attention to, because any other time last season, well, not any other time last season, but under the previous manager and the previous ownership, it's damage limitation at that point. You go goals down, you hope it's not 2. Whereas now, I have every single faith that we try and come back to at least equalise in the game. And yeah, completely against Man City, I thought we did. Like, I genuinely came away from that game absolutely gutted, because I was like, I really feel like that should have been 3 points. But Man City, they're the champions for a reason. They switched on at like 100% after 70 minutes. They didn't need to do anything else before that. So yeah, it just is what it is. But I'm really happy with the start so far.
Yeah, Man City are going through a bit of a process where they like to go 2 goals down and then going mad in about, as we found out on the last day of the season last year. But the less said about that, the better. But what you mentioned about the sort of resilience in Newcastle at the moment, I saw them live at Anfield last year, and I'll come to sort of the transformation I've seen from players like Joe Linton, who I think is one of the biggest transformations in Newcastle's history anyway. Never mind Premier Leagues, never mind Newcastle's only, because he is the epitome of what Newcastle have been about, especially under Eddie Howe. And I think Eddie Howe needs to take a lot of credit for that, because you have a player who you bought for 40 million. You obviously know him better than myself. But when I saw him at Anfield, and just like the others 10 on the pitch, there was a resilience about Newcastle where you thought, what, in years gone by, you think they might capitulate under the pressure. Someone like Liverpool coming at them 100 mile an hour, but you guys seem to, like, you can suffer in games as well, and then you've got the quality in someone like a Bruno to pick a pass out, in sort of a Allan Saint-Maximin producing a moment of magic like we saw at the weekend, to come back into the game. And that's what those are the hallmarks of a brilliant team, especially for someone like Newcastle, threatening to sort of come into that top 6.
Yeah, I've been so impressed. Like the whole Joe Linton thing, I still am utterly shocked just at the transformation, because I always say this and everyone always laughs and thinks that I'm taking credit. But I would say about 2 years ago, I had joked that when I watched him, I say I joke, I was being serious, but when I watched him, everything about him made me think he was a number 8, because just his physicality, his hold and play, his first touch is great. It's just the strike is poor. And I kept saying he's not a striker, and I kept saying this over and over. I had posted on Twitter and I got bullied out of the opinion that much that I said I was joking, because I was like, oh, everyone thinks I'm weird. So I was like, oh, I'm just joking. But I was being deadly serious at the time. Then obviously Eddie came in, and it was just through the simple fact of injuries at the time, he had to play there. And from then on, it was just amazing. He's become an absolute midfield enforcer. He is so physical and so strong in that midfield. And we've not really had a player like him in our midfield since probably, I would say, like Tiote a long time ago. Just that strong physical presence, that commanding presence in a centre mid, which we haven't had. So yeah, his transformation's been epic. And it isn't just him, it's players like Emil Kraft, who I was pretty sure was like the worst right back I'd ever seen at the club at one point. He is now jokingly referred to as Krafu because he's so good. But unfortunately, bless him, he did actually suffer really severe ACL injury against Tranmere, and now he's out for about 9 months, which it's just such a shame, because again, he was one of the players that absolutely just was brilliant under when Eddie Howe came. So yeah, I have absolutely. This window's been a bit funny because obviously Ross Barkley's been put out there, Nicholas Pepe, like things like that. And everyone's been like, no, I don't want him. And I'm like, you know what? I honestly think Eddie could improve anyone. So I wasn't turning my nose up at absolutely anyone, except probably Scott McTominay. I think that's a step too far. Anyone else, I'm like, yeah, I think, you know what? I think Eddie can improve him. Don't worry.
So is that sort of, are you looking for the right winger then? You mentioned that you want a right winger, because at the moment, who do you play out there? Is it Almiron?
Almiron, yeah.
Okay.
Almiron or Ryan Fraser.
When I see Almiron,
Jacob Murphy sometimes.
When I see Almiron, I think he gets about the pitch. He's got a good touch, and he does everything apart from put the ball back into the net. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. He's a workhorse. That's the thing about Almiron. He works hard, and I think I always say this: every single team needs a workhorse like that. Every single team needs somebody to work hard, even if you don't do much else, because it just brings morale together. It pushes the team forward. Unfortunately for Almiron, in pre-season he scored 7 goals, and I was like, you know what, this could be his time. He's been here 3 years now. I think he really needs a good season behind him. Unfortunately, he hasn't quite put that fully to use yet in the league. I know we're only 4 games in. It's a lot different when you're playing in the league, more pressurised situation. But I just think we just need to upgrade. We need someone who I think can link up well with Trippier, because obviously, as I said, I do follow Atleti as well, and I have done since 2004. And the link up between Llorente and Trippier is what made Atleti win the league 2 years ago. That sole link up. So yeah, I just think we need someone who is very quality there, who can score goals, who can do a bit of mix and match stuff. And yeah, but I love Almiron. I would like to keep him, but I just don't think he is what we need to progress going forward, unfortunately.
Okay, brilliant. But you mentioned, and I think I need to give a shout out to Avi as well. Like you sort of called the transformation of Joe Linton playing midfield. If he watches this and I don't mention his name, he's going to absolutely kill me. So shout out to Avi at Blue Chip TV. Why, Kendall? Because he told me about a year and a half ago as well, where this guy, he might not be the striker. They bought him for 40 million, but they shouldn't sell him for 10, 15 million and try to sort of cut your losses. They should play him in midfield. And I laughed at him. I'll be honest, hands up. And I said, no, Avi, he just doesn't have enough quality. But when I saw him live at Anfield, I thought, and I texted him on that night and I said, you know what? Hands up, Avi. You've got something right for once. But on this occasion, it's a shout out. But coming to the game then, what do you think sort of the feeling is amongst Newcastle fans, Kendall? Like, coming to Anfield on a midweek night under the lights at Anfield, where the Cop will be in full voice. Do you think you can get something from the game? Especially, I'm not exactly seeing your injuries, but I saw Saint-Maximin limp off. Trippier's a doubt. Shelby's already out. Bruno is out already. And there's a few more, isn't there? Half of your team is out.
So Callum Wilson's obviously out, probably
Wilson.
for another 3 or 4 weeks. He did his hamstring against Man City, so he's out. We think around 4 weeks. Bruno is now out. They're saying he's a doubt for tomorrow, but we don't think it's going to be any longer than this week that he's out. It just so happens that it's against Liverpool that he's out. Trippier is going to be fine according to Eddie today. And ASM is also a doubt. So, if we'd had a full strength squad, I wouldn't be like necessarily as worried going into the game as I usually am. I'm not worried because it really on paper, then like you guys should be winning on paper, like that's fair enough. But I don't also want to come into a game already defeated because if I believe in anything, it's the team that we have now. As I've said, I believe in us so much that we don't just like defeat ourselves before we kick a ball. I mean, obviously, with you guys not having the best start to the season, then now realistically is the best time to play you because it's early on the season. It's out of the way. We're done with until we play you guys at home, which I would back us a lot more at home because our home form's quite good. But yeah, I do think missing Bruno is massive. Missing Maxi and Bruno together is worse. But it is what it is, and hopefully, God forbid, Isaac's permit comes through because it isn't through yet. And we've got up to 75 minutes before the game tomorrow for that to be obviously signed off. So yeah, just hoping that comes through tomorrow and I'll have a little bit more hope, I think.
So you see the big man coming on for a late cameo tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so, 100%. He might even start if the permit comes through because Chris Wood's just not it. And obviously we don't have another fit striker. So, I mean, if he starts Chris Wood, then okay, I kind of understand it. But yeah, when you're getting hooked against obviously Wolves and you're getting hooked for a winger, that tells me a lot. That's making me think that obviously you are not trusted to play a striker because we ended up playing Saint-Maximin as a striker against Wolves later on in the game. So yeah, Chris Wood's not it, unfortunately. He does a lot and he reads the game pretty well and covers positions if we're out of position. But yeah, if anything, I just hope Isak starts because again, as I said, no one really knows how to defend against him or anything yet. So
yeah, of course. Yeah. And I think Chris Wood, from the outside looking in, it might have been like a decent stopgap for Newcastle.
Yeah.
But now you're established, you never know, never going to be anywhere near the relegation, but positions. So it's just sort of going to the next level, isn't it? And I'm sure Alexander Isak, will do that for you. Well, how do you see this? So your lineup, and how do you see Eddie Howe lining up? Because I can't remember the exact formation, but when you came last year, you sort of, I don't want to say park the bus, but you were looking to break us. And that's where a lot of teams have found their success in Liverpool. And just recently in Palace, where I think you might be a bit similar in terms of setup, where you're looking for that pass from deep. I think that's where you might miss someone like Shelby and Bruno, who can pick a pass out from the deep in transition. And pick the likes of Allan Saint-Maximin and Almiron on the break, and even Callum Wilson, on the break as well, because all these guys possess, speed, and that's what's troubled us, because we will commit people forward. Do you have? I know you've got a lot of people out. Do you have any other guys who are going to come in as replacements and catch us on the break, if you like?
Obviously, as I say, Isak's obviously going to be one if he plays. The good thing is that Trippier's fit and he can pick out a long ball from anywhere, and also a free kick. So that's a good thing. Yeah. We play 4-3-3 pretty much all the time now, which is actually a very well-known Klopp system. 4-3-3. So, and funny enough, Eddie Howe did actually shadow Klopp when he was out of management. So I think we'll probably just stick with 4-3-3. Yeah, we did go 5 at the back against Man City at times, but I just think Eddie tries and matches the best that he can without changing too much. So yeah, Botman has started the season really, really well. I think anyway. There's been a little bit of a weird argument in our fan base. Some people say he's rubbish, some people say he's good. He has won one of the most aerial duels in the league since he started. So for me, I think he's starting well. But it's probably going to be Longstaff for Bruno, I would say, because we don't really have another option there, to be honest with you. I would like to see Elliot Anderson play because he's been really, really good. When I've seen him, he just hasn't played enough. And I don't think Eddie's going to trust to chuck him straight in.
Does Elliot Anderson play in the same position as Bruno?
Yeah, so he can play both, actually. He can play on the wing and as a central midfielder. So he can play kind of both. But yeah, I think it'll be relatively unchanged, apart from obviously the injuries. We'll have to cover the injuries. So it'll be Longstaff in the middle, obviously Joe Linton and probably Willock. And then up front, if Isak's not playing, it's going to obviously have to be Wood. And then probably Fraser and Almiron.
Yeah. Just a word on Saint-Maximin, that we sometimes, at home or, sort of amongst friends when you're out and about, have this sort of conversation. Can he, what sort of ceiling has he got? Is he good enough for the sort of the top 4 clubs at the moment? And I've been in sort of Twitter spaces as well, and I get a mixed response from Newcastle fans saying, you know what, on the ball, he's absolutely brilliant, but you don't see him week in, week out. He has got a bit of a lazy side, and someone like under the sort of tutelage of Jurgen Klopp, he won't accept that, especially the way that you guys play. And last year he had someone like Mane and even Diaz this year who've got, they can roll their sleeves up. But, whenever I see him, most of his work is on the ball, but he doesn't come across as, a player that you just totally rule out as a lazy player.
The fact that he gets such mixed feelings is literally indicative of how he is, because when he turns it on, as I don't know if you watched the game against Man City, when he turns it on, he is absolutely unbelievable. Like, he's genuinely unplayable. He made Kyle Walker look like a pensioner. Literally, like, that's how good he is when he wants to be. It's not consistent enough. And like, even when we played against Wolves, he didn't actually do much until the second half of the game when he needed to do something. As fans, we love him. He does so much outside of football for the local community. He gives a lot to the fans, like just in gifts and things like that. He is very, very happy to be where he is and very grateful. But it's just on the pitch, you sometimes would think that he isn't. And sometimes he'll do like a limping thing where if things aren't going his way and he is not getting past as many people as he wants, he starts limping. Like, he just does various things like that. And the frustration doesn't come from a place of like negativity. It comes from a place of the fact that we know that he's better than that and we know what he has about him. I think he could genuinely play for anyone on his day, but the problem is his day is it's not every week. Obviously, I know you can't be 100% every week, but at least 80%. And unfortunately, it's just not every week. So he started the season off pretty well. I'm just hoping that maybe if he's out tomorrow because he is a doubt, then fair enough, he comes back on. We've got Crystal Palace on Sunday. So maybe he can do something then. But yeah, I just want to see a little bit more consistency from him, because he is actually after a new contract now, which is fair enough. He's not one of the highest earners at the club. But yeah, I would think we need to see more consistency from him before that.
You might see an upturn in performances then.
No wonder he started the season off well. What's that contract?
Look, he looks like when I see him on TV, he looks that sort of player where you just need to sort of wrap him up in cotton wool, feed him the ball every single time and let him just do his stuff. Because whenever he's on it, like you said, he's absolutely box office. And like you mentioned, I've not seen Kyle Walker look slow for a long, long time. And we had some crazy deals with him with, Salah and especially Mane on that side, where, at times Mane didn't want to take him on the outside. But, with Saint-Maximin, he could have taken Walker on the inside, on the outside. He was doing whatever he wanted. And like I said, even Joe Willock made, I think there was a little clip going around on Twitter where, Willock was just outpacing Walker. Yeah. And that's the first time in a long, very, very long time I've seen that, because Walker, he just, whenever you come up against him, you just don't bother. You just turn inside and pass it sideways. But honestly, I think Saint-Maximin has got all the potential. And like you said, sometimes it's up to the individual as what sort of heights, they achieve in their career. And sometimes it's down to attitude, isn't it? But coming to the predictions then, heart or your mind, whichever it is, Kendall, give us your predictions and goal scorers if you like.
I never, ever, ever go... I never predict us to lose. Even if I think we're going to lose, I never predict us to lose, because everyone's going to blame me if we do. I don't want to jinx it. I also actually, if I don't think we're going to win, I will not predict us to win either, because I don't want people to come at me later on, clip me and be like, this girl's delusional. I just don't want that. I'd just rather not. So
you're sitting on the fence.
Yeah, middle for diddle. I always do it. Obviously, the piece I did for the Liverpool Echo earlier, I did predict 2-2. Whether I believe that or not is up to you. You can take that with as much pinch of salt as you want to. But I did predict a 2-2. And to be fair, I actually don't think that's impossible at the moment. So, yeah, 2-2 is my prediction. Goal scorers, I don't know who's going to play yet. So I think I best just not guess that one.
Okay. No, look, 2-2, if I was, I'll be honest with you, if I think, you were being unrealistic. At the moment, there's a feel-good factor at Newcastle in the city, amongst the club. You've got a manager who has a certain sort of philosophy, and, you've got the owners and the fans all singing from the same hymn sheet. And, credit to you, because, like I said, City, Newcastle, and his people, deserve what, because you had Mike Ashley, for God's sake, for years and years. So, good on you. And it's good to see. And like I said earlier, I've had a soft spot for Newcastle for a long, long time. And you play the football the right way, even amongst the during the 90s and early noughties. It's a proper football club with proper fans. And that's how I sort of describe them. But yeah, I think that's all we have time for, Kendall. And do you want to sort of tell our viewers where they can find you on Twitter, wherever you like, or wherever you are on social media? Go for it.
Yeah, I'm just Kendall Rowan on everything. Obviously, if you're seeing this is just my @ here. Literally everything: YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. You will find me there. And pretty much I keep everyone updated on my socials with what I'm doing in terms of like pods or shows or anything like that. So yeah, you'll find me somewhere if you want to. I always joke that I'm a little bit of like I'm a podcaster that doesn't have a home. Everyone normally has a home, like they're part of like a group or like a general podcasting. I am not. I'm just anywhere and everywhere. If someone asks me to do it, I will try. So yeah, just you'll find me somewhere if you want to.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. And like I said, a huge big up to you for taking, I know you just come back from work as well. And big up to yourself and continue the great work that you're doing. And yeah, next time you're on the overlap, mind you, just give us a shout out as well.
I will, don't worry, I will. Thank you for having me there. I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And like I said, good luck after Wednesday night. And who have you got after? Did you say Palace away?
Crystal Palace at home.
At home, okay. You should get 3 points there after
hopefully
getting battered on the Wednesday night. But
I'm hoping you're done with the goals for this week. I'm hoping you've just said, 9-0. We don't need to do much else on Wednesday. 9-0's good enough.
I was looking at our goal difference and I saw it +8, and then I forgot we beat Bournemouth 9-0. And we always get the other managers the sack. And I think I saw a bit of a list today, and Scott Parker was among about 4 or 5 managers after beating them. But thank you very much, and do check out wherever Kendall is. Do check out our On the Road show tomorrow, pre and post-match reactions coming up your way. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. Do smash a like and comment on the way out as well. And we shall see you soon. And yeah, check us out and take care. Thank you very much. Bye now.